Hi guys.
Hey there. If you tuned in earlier and it was a black screen, we got all that figured out. So here we go again.
I know. Welcome. Thanks for sticking around.
Right. We're super glad that you are here with us this afternoon. We're live in the classroom studio at the Chisholm Trail Heritage Center in Duncan, Oklahoma. I'm Edie.
I'm Mary.
And we have some super cool, massively smart individuals, yes,
Oklahomans.
Yeah, to introduce to
and they're
you.
Not just us. We're not talking about ourselves.
And we've already introduced them to you. No, just kidding. Yeah.
So now it's time for question and answers. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Oklahoma Inventors and Inventions. And I mean, we hit the jackpot this week. We have some incredibly brilliant people. I'm guessing easily there are 4 people, 1 company, probably 100+ patents.
I think each one of them has at least 30 to 40.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to blow your mind. It's pretty incredible. And we're pretty excited to talk to you about these guys today. So let's just go ahead and jump in here.
Here we go.
And the first man's name is James Dennis. And I think he went by Jim. I did not include a photograph.
This is not him.
Yeah,
he's not the floating head here.
I'm pretty sure that's not him. The only pictures I could find were little tiny ones that would have just been really pixelated if I tried to blow them up where you guys could see them. So instead, we have some other cool pictures. So as a child, he was a artsy, intellectual, just kind of Curious, yes.
I think curious would be a good word.
Yes, exactly. And
Inquisitive.
He liked to, think. He thought, had big, deep thoughts. He taught himself to be a ventriloquist when he was in middle school and had a dummy named Butch. He was born in Oklahoma City in 1929. So he was a kid. This would have been right after the Depression, probably around the time World War I started, when he would have been around that age, and traveled around Oklahoma City doing little ventriloquist shows. Which I'm always a little fascinated by ventriloquists.
The way they do that, and the one that sings and does that.
Yeah, they're just, it's pretty cool. But he liked to read popular mechanics. So I don't know if you guys know what
that's still around today, right?
I think so. Anyway, it's just like, well, I would just call it, some good nerd reading.
Yeah, and we don't mean that degrading.
No,
we're nerds.
Not at all. Exactly. I just really think that that's the kind of stuff that problem solvers, tinkerers, people like that, they really like all of that stuff. And so, I mean, like when Kevin and I got married, he had Popular Mechanics, some old Popular Mechanic magazines sitting around.
You like to tear things apart just to see how they work.
Always
cut the blue or the red wire. That type thing.
Yeah, always doing stuff like that. And so as a young man, he would always try to build the things that were in Popular Mechanics magazine.
Try to recreate them.
Right. And anyway, then his parents bought a record player, the old kind of phonograph thing. And turntable. And he decided that he could design a better one. And he did. And he came up with the idea of the record changer.
Where they can change the sizes, that the needle can move in and out.
Yes. And so this is actually, he built this thing at his house and toted it, put it in a suitcase and toted it off to the East Coast and
to market or sell it.
To sell it. I mean, it was a different world in those days.
Totally
that was, you had to be there in person.
Door-to-door salesmen were things.
And Glazer Steers was the company that he licensed the design to Glazer Steers. So, I mean, I feel like he was super smart in how he handled all of his ideas.
Well,
and everything.
For that to be, it did the different sizes and the different speeds.
Yes.
So it wasn't just the sizes. He did that.
So it has 2 different arms here. And so the turntable was smart enough, and it was designed in such a way that, so you could, it would play 78s, which that's the big
Big ones.
ones. But then if you wanted to play 33s or 45s, it was smart enough to know which one was playing. And so the arm would go to the appropriate starting point on the record, and the turntable would adjust to the proper speed.
Mhm.
I just think that's so
Well,
brilliant.
there was knobs on to do that, the speed, wasn't there?
Well, you could
selected your
use
speed?
manually, but his would adjust the speed. It was automatically, yes. It was a changer.
I can remember having a turntable back in the day, whenever I got my first stereo, when it had like the big case and the big speakers that were about as tall as I am today.
My mom and dad had the console, with the built-in speakers.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looked like a piece
Where
of
you
furniture.
and
It was
lifted up on the
fancy.
top?
Yeah, it lifted up the lid.
Mhm.
It also had an 8-track player in it.
Oh,
It was kind of fancy.
man.
Yeah.
You
We were kind of a thing,
Yeah, well, guess we didn't get invited to that party, did we?
That
people?
8-track player in it. Oh, man.
My mom had an 8-track in her car.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm,
Oh, yeah.
mhm.
And then I had the 8-track converter that would allow you to play a cassette.
Oh, like they did for the cassette Walkman CD.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting a little off track. here.
Okay, yeah. Look, we're gonna reel ourselves back in and get back on Mr. Dennis's invention. So another design he created was a compact disc player that could be loaded and reloaded while another disc was playing. And these are all standard things that viewers, you probably don't even think about a time when these didn't exist. And you're thinking, oh, wait, you mean this was not
A given.
Yeah, exactly. But it was his ideas from the 40s, 50s, 60s that he was able to come up with all of these ideas. He sold worldwide in the millions.
That's crazy.
His products did.
Crazy.
To GE, Magnavox, Pioneer, Philips, RCA, Sony, Sansui. I mean, that's just to name a few. And he would travel the world and oversee the manufacture of his designs, US, England, Taiwan, China, earned 38 patents, and that's US patents as well as
Other
registrations in other countries. But this is one of the patents. I found this online. I thought this was a kind of a cool thing to see.
So that's the actual patent.
Yes, here's the patent number,
Mhm.
his name,
Okay.
worldwide. This was from 1966, and it shows all of the events, and that
It's a lifetime.
it's a lifetime patent. So I'm guessing it never expires.
So is that for this, or do you know what that was for? Was there a cross-reference is there a cross-reference to look up the patent to see what it goes to?
I did not. I'm sure there is, but I didn't.
This number is the
Is
same as
that
that
one?
one, but this one is different.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I've always wondered how that works,
Mhm.
because sometimes, the patents, it can be one little thing
Oh,
different.
no, look, this expired in 1985. And so it's expired now for a lifetime. So I'm thinking he doesn't go back in and regain ownership of that patent.
It says anticipated expiration.
Yeah, but then it says expired here. So I don't know. Maybe
We don't know
if-
how to read this thing.
Yeah, maybe if one of you viewers knows a little bit more about that, you could kind of help us out.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, Jim Dennis, these are things that we all take for granted today.
Oh, yeah.
And
And the fact that something back in the 40s could still be used on something as
technologically,
that's it,
Yeah.
that word, advanced as a CD player, which
Right.
a CD player, CD, disc,
yeah,
and a record, pretty much,
yeah.
same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Just, different quality of sound,
Mhm.
but still that it can still be used.
Yeah, one in like digital versus
Mhm.
the however they put the sound on that
Mhm.
piece of plastic, I don't know. But anyway, in 1997, he was inducted into the Oklahoma Inventors Hall of Fame, and he was always an independent inventor and had his own designs. So that means he never had to
You have to share.
let a company take credit or own. None of these companies that manufactured these changers and all this, they did not own that patent or
Oh,
that design.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, he licensed them So
Should be
he,
sold from,
yes,
through them.
yes, manufactured, sold,
Mhm.
but he was always the owner of the design. I just think that's
That's
super
kind of like
smart.
bands and them owning the rights to their music.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Anyway, Jim Dennis, great Oklahoma inventor.
Oh, I have to say this though.
What's up?
He was also,
Oh,
he
yeah.
owned the Sunny Lane Cemetery, which I found that just fascinating that someone actually owned a cemetery.
Yeah, yeah.
He managed it for decades. He liked to travel, golfed. He loved OU football. Who doesn't?
All right.
And it says here, he was just an excellent example of honesty, integrity, truthfulness, self-confidence, kindness, cheerfulness, wisdom, and unconditional love. So an overall just great
A
guy.
super great guy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we're just proud to call James Dennis a fellow Oklahoman and give him kudos for this such
That's
a
right.
great invention.
That's right.
Okay, so the next man, his name is John Smith Zink, but he Jr. Most folks called him Jack. Okay, and I found this cool picture of him. This is
The original
one of
Jay-Z.
Jay.
The original
The
Jay-Z.
original Jay-Z.
Mhm.
There you go. But this is, I mean, these are all kinds of pictures, awards, and all sorts of things that were in
In this museum.
and this is one of his cars. Anyway, so I think before we tell you about him, we should tell you a little bit about his dad,
Okay.
because their family came to Oklahoma in 1907 from Iowa. So
Mhm.
that was statehood year.
Right.
And his dad attended the University of Oklahoma and went to work for Oklahoma Natural Gas as a chemist.
Mhm.
And so he in 1929, he founded the John Zink Company to manufacture oil and gas combustion units. So
And this
he
is his
was
dad.
an inventor. Yeah,
His
his
dad.
dad. So his dad was an inventor. And he had dozens of patents and became the international leader in burners and combustion technology. So this is senior, John
Mhm,
Smith Sr.
mhm.
Well, in 1928, John Smith Jr. or Jack was John Zink Jr. Or Jack Zink was born in Tulsa. And he went to Oklahoma State University and graduated with a mechanical engineering degree in 1951. Now, he went to work with his dad in the oil and gas industry, but his dad always had this thing about race cars,
Mhm.
and Jack did too.
They liked.
They were very interested in it. So, let's see, Jack, he was nationally known for his involvement in race car design, construction, and competition. In 50 and 51, Senior sponsored a car in the Indianapolis 500, and then in 52, Junior did that. Now, in 52, he was only 24 years old.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
he was a young guy getting in on the ground floor.
That's right.
And so he drove these cars, and in 57, he set a stock auto speed record at Daytona Beach. He entered in every Indy 500 from 1952 to 1967. And his cars won the race in 55 and 56. And he won 13 championship series races from 55 to 66. I mean,
So in 11 years, he won 13.
yeah, this guy
championship
didn't
series.
just make cars for a hobby.
Yeah,
These cars.
he was driving it because
Yeah.
he loved it
Uh-huh.
and designed them.
And he was good at it.
Mhm.
I mean,
He knew a thing or two.
yes, for sure. He tinkered in politics,
Yeah,
had one
kinda
unsuccessful deal in
With
there,
Don
but
Nicholas and 80.
he was inducted into the Auto Racing Hall of Fame in May of 2004. But another thing that their family did, in 1945, Senior purchased an 1,800-acre plot of land north of Tulsa in the
Mhm.
Osage Hills. And
For $3 an acre.
yeah.
Can you imagine buying land that now? Like that?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
But anyway, his ultimate dream was to have land and a facility and a place for scouts,
Mhm.
Boy Scouts
He
and
was
Girl
very
Scouts.
avid
Yes.
Boy Scouts.
Really
supporter.
supported all of them, those organizations. And so he built a racetrack. The land actually grew from 1800 until he owned 30,000 acres.
Yeah.
And he built a racetrack on the land and built all kinds of scouting type, like facilities, trails, campsites, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
That in 1972, his senior started the John Steele Zink Foundation to support arts, education, and humanities. And then Junior ran the business, the oil and gas combustion
That his
business.
dad had started.
Yeah, and he himself then secured 35 patents.
Can you imagine what it was like around the dinner table?
I know, just like patent. I'm just so impressed with these guys. Anyway, they just really, I guess, set the bar
Very high.
very high for philanthropy, for supporting, the scouting organizations, in racing, in the whole racing world,
The whole,
the oil and gas
oil and gas.
industry. I
Right.
mean, this family really, and I had never heard of the Zink
I
family.
haven't heard. Mm-mm.
But my goodness, what a mark they left in all of these areas in the US.
Mhm.
And I mean, the dad is a transplanted OP,
Right.
but Junior
was born here.
and I mean, just wow.
Well, and they were,
What amazing.
like you said, they're philanthropy. They served on several different boards and commissions, like the Nations Council of the Boy Scouts, like you said, the Oklahoma
Mhm.
Wildlife Commission, Tulsa
Yeah.
County Fairgrounds Trust Authority, the Tulsa River Parks Authority, the Tulsa Area United Way. He was also a chairman of like his own foundation there.
Mhm.
I mean, so they didn't just make the money and hide up in their ranch. They
Right.
gave back to the
Or
community.
just spend it on themselves
Mhm,
to
race-
improve their race
right.
cars. They invested in
Mhm. The youth and the
people,
people in the
the
area.
area. Yeah, I mean, wow. So, I mean, again, kudos, hats
Mhm.
off to the
Mhm.
Zink family, and do a little deep dive on and look at some of the cars. There are a lot of cool pictures of
Isn't there a
these race
museum? Didn't I
cars.
see something that they have a museum somewhere? Or was that? I thought there was a museum, but I could be thinking of someone else that we're
well,
talking about today.
I am not sure. They may still have that big land, and there may be something out there.
It says that the Zink Ranch carries on the philosophy spirit because
Yeah.
Junior passed away in February 2005.
Yeah, so I'm sure that they still have that land out there. I
ranch
don't
up
know,
there.
maybe the Motor Speedway
Has some
Museum
kind of-
has something
Mhm.
about them. I
Maybe
don't
they
know.
do.
I don't know, but that'd be interesting to try to find
Mhm,
that.
mhm.
So anyway, thanks for all that you did there, Mr. Zink.
Senior and junior.
Senior and junior. Yeah, that's right. Okay, now this next man, his name is Ralph Oder, and I guess you say it odor, like smell, maybe odor. I didn't see anything about a special way to
Mm-mm,
pronounce it, so I'm
mm-mm.
just gonna say odor.
And he was Oklahoman, so.
Right,
I would
yeah.
assume Oder.
Born in Arcadia in 1895. So he was, wait,
Mhm, he was
yeah,
born
okay,
right
yeah,
there.
he was a World War I veteran and engineer.
Mhm.
Yeah, and during World War I, he would have been, wow, like when it started, he would have been about 19 years old. So, anyway, when he was in the war, he was introduced to aviation, and that became his passion.
That lit his fire.
Right, exactly. And we just did a trail talk a couple of weeks ago about World War I,
Mhm.
and the air assault was not a big part of that war.
World War I.
Aviation
It was relatively
being-
new.
It was, yes. And so it's kind of cool that he got into this. But another, inventor, obviously. So in the 20s, he began experimenting with ways to build a better aircraft engine and went back to Arcadia during that time. Now, have you ever
This is
been,
cool.
have you ever driven over that way and to see the round
The
barn
big red
at
barn.
Arcadia? Well, Ralph Oder's dad built that
Mhm.
barn.
In 1898.
How cool is that? I love that. I thought that was a great.
There's so
little-
many pictures and there's paintings.
Yeah,
And I've heard that if you go in, you can hear, there's something about the acoustics in there.
acoustics of that
That you can
barn.
hear anything from
I-
every angle and
I
wherever
think
you
you're
might stand,
right.
even a
I-
whisper, I
I
think is
had
what I've
forgotten
heard.
about that. That's a cool thing. So
Mhm.
anyway, his dad was a bit of an engineering, I don't know.
Guru.
Yeah, I mean,
He tinkered.
and built this super cool barn.
Mhm.
Anyway, so Oder goes back and starts working on an idea, different models for airplane engines, and comes up with the Vortex Tornado airplane engine.
Now that sounds vicious.
So it was called that because it channeled air through a tube past spinning vanes,
Mhm.
creating a vacuum. Right there is an example of what it looked like that made the propeller spin faster. So it's not like an engine, there's still a propeller
Mhm.
on the
Right
plane,
here in
yeah.
front.
But it's powered in a different way than what what
Right.
you would generally expect. So they called it the Vornado plane, which I think is kind of fun. Here's the word Vornado, okay?
You just replace the V with a T and you
Yeah,
get tornado.
Yeah, so it's a Vornado plane. So he went to Oklahoma State University, and students there were able to, they gave him a laboratory to build, and students were able to film a flight of the model in 1931. And I
You
did
can
not,
still access it.
I
it
did not
says.
find it on the internet, but the information says it's still available. Anyway, so a patent for the air moving device was filed in 1934 and approved in 1938. And in 1934, he exhibited his airplane at the Industrial Arts and Home Workshop exhibition in Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
Well, he filed a patent for an indoor air circulator based on the same principle, in
Right.
1938, after
Mhm.
his other one
After
had
the
been
other one.
approved. A similar patent he filed in Canada also for approval. And so plans to manufacture this indoor fan were placed with the propeller company of Ohio. A few were produced and marketed, but then came World War II.
Mhm.
And so, extra manufacturing was all put on hold to manufacture all of the planes.
Things needed for the war.
Yeah, that Mr. Flaherty, who was part of the commemorative Air Force, he talked about how many planes we produced and everything during World War II. Well, so he continued to work on these fans and everything, and so this is a little sales thing. It didn't come out very good, but tomorrow's fan at tomorrow's prices. I thought that was
$22.95.
I thought that was kind of an interesting marketing.
Not today's fan at tomorrow prices.
Or not tomorrow's fan at today's prices, where you're going to get tomorrow's
It's going to
fan,
blow you so far into
Yeah,
the future.
but you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. You just got to be willing to
get what you pay
take the
for.
jump. Yeah, $22.95
That seems like a lot of money
a
back
lot.
then. Like you could have bought
I don't know. Yeah.
a lot of things for $22.95
Yeah.
back then.
So anyway, it must have been quite a, I don't know, quite a powerful, I'm guessing it was a pretty powerful fan.
I'm sure it wasn't really quiet either.
Yeah, that's true. I'd kind of like to see one in action just to see what it was like now that I've heard about this.
I want to
thing.
go to an antique shop now and look for a Vornado.
Yeah. So after
Crank it up.
the war, Mr. Oder went to work as an engineer for O.A. Sutton's Aircraft Welders Company in Kansas.
That is a mouthful.
And Sutton, this company manufactured these these fans,
Mhm.
but didn't
Give
give
him the
Oder
recognition.
the credit for the invention. And so
Mhm.
sadly, I mean, there had to be like a lot of research and verification and everything, but finally
They did.
they did, and they gave him credit for his invention.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He had 2 daughters and 3 sons and a wife.
and ended up living in Ohio.
Mhm.
But this picture didn't turn out great, but the man who invented the tornado, and I thought
kinda
that was
see it
kind of,
there.
yeah, you can see the whole idea for the,
He's got the.
however, he does have a little kind of smallish mustache. That's a little bit odd, but anyway, I thought the plane was cool, and
It's not very long, is it?
Yeah,
It's really.
I'd like to find, these look like little bicycle.
I know, it looks like
tires on it.
it.
Yeah. I would like to see if I could find that video.
That would be.
I think it would be cool to
Mhm.
watch. So
Yeah.
anyway, Ralph Oder, I mean, and I'm gonna guess that this idea for these
Technology
fans
is probably
is,
still.
it
similar.
probably is.
I mean, I know, like I said earlier, I know patents. I mean, I know, no, but I have heard that patents, you change one little thing on it and you have to
Yes.
apply for a new patent. It makes it
Yes.
completely different, even if you change, say, the size of a screw or something like that. I believe you still have to change
Yeah.
the patent. So there might have been some tweaks and things like that, but what we're saying whenever we say something like that is that the overall concept
Right.
is probably still used.
Yes,
today.
yeah, I would agree with that. That's a good explanation. So, okay, so now we're gonna jump to not a person, but a company, Zebco. I know all you fishermen out there and women, fishermen, fisherwomen, you know what a Zebco reel is. I mean, when I was a kid, this was like the reel.
Like the BMX.
Yeah, I mean,
of
like, I would
fishing
be
reels.
like, yeah, I was like, okay, look, I want a Zebco reel. There were commercials on TV for Zebco reels. It was a thing.
Mhm.
And I think there are still Zebco reels that you can buy. I haven't bought one in a long time, but anyway, this picture is from the manufacturing place, which this Zebco reels were manufactured in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So there was a man whose his full name was Jasper R. Dell Hull, but he went by R.D. Hull. Now
Hull.
yeah, he's from Texas, and he came up with that idea for a fishing reel that wouldn't backlash on you. If you've ever had a backlash while you're fishing,
Mhm.
ugh, it ruins everything. If you don't have another reel, your day is
You're
done.
done.
You have,
You're
it
done.
can take forever. They're still available?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Zebcos are still available out there. So anyway, he went to the 0 Hour Bomb Company of Tulsa. Now, I didn't know there was a place called the 0 Hour Bomb
They manufactured
Company.
electric time bombs
But the 0
in
Hour
oil well formations.
0
Mhm.
Hour Bomb Company.
Yep.
That's where the name
Zebco.
Zebco came from. I bet you didn't know that.
Now you do.
Yeah, anyway, they had been in business since 1932,
32.
making
Came out of hard
electric
times,
time
didn't they?
bombs, and that were used in fracturing oil well formation.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
so it was oil and gas related. Of course it was in Tulsa,
We're in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Yeah. So they agreed and they made their first reel. They called it the Standard. And earlier I almost said Zebco was the standard. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the one,
When you think of a reel, you think of
Exactly,
Zebco.
yeah. And that came out in May of 1949. And then not long after that, regional marketing under the name Zebco, the product became so popular that in 1936, 0 Hour Bomb, 56, 0 Hour Bomb Company changed their name to Zebco and switched from making those time bombs to making reels.
The reels full time.
Full time.
Mhm.
And it changed everything. They had kind of gotten stuck in the, we only have this one product kind of thing. But with reels, I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of reels, and Zebco, you know, they just kept improving and coming up with better ideas. He remained there and designed 26 reels and received 35 patents before his May 1977 retirement.
Man.
So in about 45 years.
And they did merge with Brunswick too
Yeah.
in 1961.
And Brunswick's another sporting goods name
Company name.
that you might be familiar with. But I mean,
But
obviously,
they stayed there in Tulsa.
yes, yeah. This is a little bit of a dated picture. Some of the fashions might give away, you know.
Hey, they come back. They come back.
Everything's coming back. But yes, Zebco reels. I did not know that they were manufactured in Oklahoma. And the 0 Hour Bomb Company thing, that would be a great trivia question.
It would. It would.
Super great
I'm
trivia.
thinking now about
question.
their hair down the same part.
Yeah.
I pick up on this kind of thing.
Exactly. Okay, we have one more person to introduce you to.
Last but not least.
Yeah, and his name is Brent Hike. That's how you say this, like you're going on a hike, Hike. That's how you pronounce his last name. But Brent Hike is from Ames, Oklahoma, small town, kind of north central Oklahoma. He is an oil man, a farmer, and an inventor. And as a farmer, he is like a
I was gonna say soybeans.
enthusiast. Well,
We
no,
can't
I'm
go
not gonna
too
t-
much
I'm not-
into
yeah,
it.
I'm not gonna go all the way into his information today because
There's a reason.
he is our guest tomorrow on Trail Talk. That's right. So we'll get to continue Mr. Hike's story tomorrow, but I am going to give you a little bit of
Wait,
information.
you know what to kind of look for
I mean,
tomorrow.
when I called him, you know, we were kind of settling all the details about Trail Talk. He said, I hope I'm not sitting out on a tractor harvesting soybeans when it's time. I said, I hope so too. But he assured me he'd be available. So this is soybean harvest time. So that will be kind of interesting to hear about that when we talk to him. But he grew up on his dad's farm and just developed a love for racing.
I know, we're kind of have a theme going through today.
There is a little bit of
Racing
this
and war.
continuum.
War and racing.
Yeah.
Speed.
And so he decided to kind of marry farming and racing. And he
Who
did
would
it.
think to do it?
Yeah, he did it through the use of soybeans. This is where his ability to be an inventor, think
It's
outside
just-
the
I mean,
box.
it's like Doc Brown, the
Create-
trash and the
Yeah.
fuel master or whatever.
Yeah,
And the
exactly.
DeLorean. Who thinks to put soy
Exactly.
to do that?
Yeah. Anyway, he did a couple of super cool things. One of them is what these pictures are. So these are the
This is a B-20 fueled Ford F-250.
yeah, F-250. Okay, that's the Haas. That's the big truck. And he set a land speed record for production grade trucks when he drove this thing 182 miles an hour on the Bonneville Salt Flats. That's what this picture is. This is why there's a parachute back there to help him with the drag to stop his truck. 182 miles an hour, and he used a B-20 fueled B-20 fuel. So that's like a biofuel, which means it probably has soybean
Soybeans in it.
or corn or
some kind of
some kind
naturally
of yeah,
breaking-
it's
yeah.
not all what is the word? I'm trying, petroleum.
Mhm.
It's not all petroleum.
Products and
It's
byproducts.
it's based on other natural
Occurring,
plant or whatever.
yes.
Anyway, so he also, now before he did this, he took an E85, which is an ethanol 85, converted Mustang FR 500C, which means Cobra
To also the-
Mustang, to the Bonneville Salt Flats. and wanted to set a land speed record for an ethanol powered car. Okay, he did an initial run in this Mustang of over 252 miles per hour, which was a record. But a mechanical failure did not allow them to get the validation run. So when you're setting a land speed record like this,
You can't just
to
go back
get
and
two.
say, hey, this is what I
Yeah,
did.
it can't just be a one-off. You have to get
A
two.
one and done, yeah.
And so he couldn't do the second one, but the 252 mile per hour run earned the car the unofficial designation by some as the fastest production Mustang on earth. So he didn't just stop with that. I mean, he's done a lot of other things with racing. He's done
He's got
other
his own
things.
motor racing or motor sports
Yes,
team,
he-
doesn't he? Or
Hike
company?
Motorsports Museum is in Ames.
Maybe that's where I got
Oklahoma.
the museum.
I bet that's it. I bet that's it. Yeah, he owns a museum. He has some race cars that belong to some pretty famous people in that museum. I'm hoping he'll talk about that some tomorrow. So Brent Hike, I think, is going to be a super fun episode to just pick his brain.
Be cool
and
if he could
hear,
bring it, a Mustang
right?
or something and.
It wouldn't take long to get here.
No, I know a couple of people maybe that might want to drive a really fast
Yeah,
Mustang.
yeah, I'm sure.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, yeah, he won't be here. Where he's going to be a Zoom
It'll be a
because
Zoom.
where he lives is like 3 hours away from here, so it's a little far for a trail talk. But anyway,
Still get to talk to him.
yeah, and I think it's going to be very interesting to hear about
Pick his
his
brain.
soybean
Like, how did he
adventures.
decide? Like,
I don't know.
We need to ask him. Like, what made you think,
Yeah.
hey, let's try soybeans?
One thing I read was that he actually used the soybeans and created a resin that was, and made some of the car parts. Like
Really?
some of the door panels and maybe the foam inside the seats or seat
Not
covers.
engine parts.
No,
necessarily,
not
but
engine
more like
parts,
the interior.
But, or like the exterior, panels and
Mhm.
parts of the outside of the Cobra. Or maybe it was a different car, but
I wonder if that
anyway.
car's in that
I
museum.
know one thing he had experimented with was making a resin out of soybeans for baseball helmets.
Really?
Now, I couldn't find any on the market, so I don't know if that's still in the
Something that goes
process.
on?
Yeah, or what, but I just think he's going to be a super interesting guy to talk to, so I hope you'll join us tomorrow. But anyway, that's our episode about Oklahoma inventors and inventions.
Volume 4.
Volume 4. Guys, I feel like we just like the tip of the iceberg too.
I know.
And I'm going to do some big digging and try to find some ladies, some women who are inventors from Oklahoma. I don't think we've had any of those yet. And
We've had some prominent women that
yes,
we've talked about, but
prominent
not any.
but not in this
Inventor type,
inventing
yeah.
type of
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, I'm gonna get on that and see what
We're
we can
known for
find.
more than just fashion and
Exactly.
being able to talk to a wall.
That's right. We got brains
Mhm.
and all sorts of
Goo.
strength and everything. So anyway, thanks for joining us today. I hope you guys learned some stuff. We always love talking to you and sharing some information with you. And be sure and join us tomorrow.
3
and
o'clock.
Meet Brent Hike. And so I guess that's all we have for you today. So here we go.
Happy
Happy trails.